Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Yia and I'm here with Michael. Michael, can you tell us what you do?
Yes, thank you for having me. So I'm a PhD researcher at Sciences Po in Paris and lecturer in public policy at HSC University here in Ghana. And basically I'm looking at tech entrepreneurship and how it contributes to development and to development policies in Africa, looking at the cases of Togo and Ghana and how the ecosystems got built from scratch, basically.
All right, that is really good. So tell me, when it comes to Ghana and Togo, comparatively, how is the ecosystem like?
Well, Ghana is much more financialized, so you have much more opportunities for fundings and for entrepreneurs. Of course, the skills are here in both situations, but you have more universities, turns toward IT. And involved in IT training in Ghana. And so what you see is that from the late 2010 to the late 20s, let's see, 2020, let's say, you have changed from technical skills to business skills. And that's what happened, I think, in Ghana, which was foundational and instrumental in the emergence of the ecosystem.
That is really, I'm glad that, Ghana is, growing when it comes to this industry. Now let's talk about fintech. Is part of your research in that area?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I'm very interested in the fintech ecosystem in particular, because I think there are huge opportunities here for funding development. We see a huge withdrawal of development funders across the world. And I think these are kind of savvy solutions and options to finance a development in another way and to, leverage on other actors to work together to do that. So yes, I think so.
Personally, recently, I've seen a rise of a lot of startups that are based in tech. And I'm glad that, and most of these startups, they are getting a lot of funding from the government, from other NGOs in Ghana. And so for me, I'm glad that we have like that kind of thing. It is growing our ecosystem. It is growing the individual people in Ghana. And even that it is like a form of encouragement for the ordinary Ghanaian. Now, tell me about Togo. What is the atmosphere like? What is the ecosystem like?
So yeah, it's an interesting question. In Togo, you have a lot of young people. The youth is very much involved and believe a lot in, this ideal of success through entrepreneurship and through startups, like in Ghana in a way. But what happens is I think, and I can't really yet explain why, but the opportunities are more limited. And it's more difficult to access fundings. The trust from foreign investors is harder to get, I think. And it's a problem also for Ghanaian entrepreneurs. And a lot of entrepreneurs in Ghana would tell you the same thing, that you need also connections abroad to get access to funding. But I think, yes, maybe they are less connected internationally. And I think there is something to do also to the Anglophone tech world, which is maybe less open to Francophone Africa and to Francophone entrepreneurs in Africa. So, yes.
So what do you think our ecosystem should do, to be able to, make it thrive, make it get more funding, make it create more awareness for other people to, fund us when it comes to these startups?
It's an interesting question. What we should do is difficult to say, but I think things are being done at the moment, which are very encouraging. That is to say, to, leverage and tap into government and initiatives from government, from ministries, and gather gather the different people and different players from the ecosystem and make them work together to work on bills and to try to, make the ground for something that would benefit all. And I think, there are some synergies that are being found, which are, I think, very, very important.
Thinking of the resistance when it comes to funding these startups, do you think that these companies are a bit scared or skeptic about giving us money because they think we might not actually use the money to do what we say we want to use the money for?
So two things about that. I think there is a huge mistrust regarding fintech across the world. Because look at what's happening with Binance and with regulation from central bankers. Well, you see, for a lot of companies, it's difficult to get bankers to trust them. And at the same time, you have a lot of initiatives which are being taken by bankers, by financial institutions, to open space and to open the room to those fintechs, because they've understood that, well, there is an important thing that is happening and at stake here. The other thing is that I think that, sorry, what was your question again?
My question was about what we are doing, or what the fintech industry is doing to make sure that the people that are funding us think we are, like, it is safe for them to give us some money.
And the other thing is, I think there are a lot of examples of companies which have managed to, take initiatives and to prove that their tech was effective, that it was helping people. And I think, example is the best way to convince and to gain trust from investors and from institutions. So it's difficult in the global context in which we are, but I think, yes, that's where it lies.
We are doing something. All right. So from your research, do you think that it is safe? We have gained trust from, do you think we will be able to gain, or we have gained the trust of, some of these companies, or we are working towards it,
Sorry, come again.
Do you think that from your research, Ghana has gotten to the point where we have been able to build trust when it comes to funding some of these innovations?
I think Ghana is going in the right direction in this respect. In a way, the fact that we found synergies between Bank of Ghana, between the different stakeholders from the ecosystem and people who were there from the beginning, from the onset, I think this is the most encouraging thing in this perspective, in a way. So, yes, I would say so.
All right. Thank you very much, Michael, for coming. I'm glad that you shared your research with us. And maybe sometime later, we would get to hear what your findings are and how we can improve.
It's a great pleasure.
Thank you very much for coming. All right.